Hey, this is Steve with BestBid. Today we're going to talk about crew sizes and job tracking. These are things that when you're new to the office, you may not know a lot about. So today I'm going to try to take the mystery out of it, get you started in the right direction, and at the end I'm also going to give you a free tool to help you manage your jobs. The first step is to win the project, of course, but then the most important thing is to be a winner when the project's over. We can give you the software, the BestBid Hybrid Pro. That's going to make it easy to win the project, but then you have to manage it to make sure that you come in on time with your budgets. In this video, I'm going to try to give you some things to think about. It's not going to be all inclusive, but at least it's a direction that maybe you've never thought about before. Then, like I said before, I'm going to give you a free tool at the end to manage your projects. So I talk to people every day on the phone. They call in looking for estimating software, and I hear the same story over and over. You know, I've been an electrician for 30 years. You know, I can put in any job that you have, but I've never had the opportunity to work in the office. So they've never sat under senior electrical estimator or even a project manager, or haven't managed jobs from the office. So these are going to be new skill sets that they have to learn. At BestBid, we offer a fantastic online school for electrical estimating. It teaches you how to estimate, nothing to do with the software, but how to estimate or estimate better. So if you're interested in learning to estimate, you can go to bestbidestimating.com or 800-941-7028, and we can teach you how to estimate. But this video here is going to be about project management and job tracking. I know what it feels like to be thrown in the office without any training, kind of just winging it as you go. I remember the first time a general contractor called and said he wanted me to create a schedule for the job. We just did one, and I didn't want to admit that I had no idea what he was talking about. So I just said, hey, you don't worry about us, you build it and we'll get it wired. You can't build it faster than we can wire it. And I sure live to regret those words. So I want to try to prevent you from being in that same situation. And I know the next time that I was asked to create a budget, I spent a little time thinking about it. When you're new to electrical contracting and you first start thinking of crew sizes and how to keep track of your electrical projects, it may seem easy. You may even say that's just going to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So that gives you 40 hours a week allocated per worker. And that's a true statement. You may think of it as spending 40 man hours per week per employee that's going to be working on the job. And those 40 man hours will be spent out of your bucket of total man hours. Another way to view this is divide total number of man hours from the electrical estimate by 40. Just hours you're going to work in a week. See how many weeks it take one man to complete the project. This isn't really realistic, but it gives you an idea of the size of the job. For example, if you have your electrical estimate, you can go to it and look it up, and it says you have 400 man hours to complete the project. You would divide 400 man hours by 40, so that gives you 10. So that tells you that it takes one man 10 weeks or 50 days to finish the job. So that gives you an idea of how big the project is and what you're looking at. You may even go using this method of thinking to use 2 workers. The math would be 400 man hours divided by 80. So that takes 2 workers, 5 weeks or 25 days. Breaking this down even more, you could say 4 workers are working, which would be more realistic. The math would be 4 workers times 8 hours a day. So that gives you 32 total hours per day worked. So that would be 400 of your man hours divided by 32. So that'd be 12 and a half days. 12 and a half days divided by 5 days in the week, that's 2.5 weeks. So that's how long it would take for 4 guys to do that. You might also look at it like saying you have 400 man hours in your estimate that you're getting from your electrical estimating software to do the project in 25 days. You need to know how many hours per day you're going to need to work to get this project on time. So you'd start by saying 400 total man hours divided by 25 days. That would be 16 man hours that you must work per day to complete that job in 25 days. So you can check that just by going 16 times 25 equals 400, and you can see that that's right. That information is really a great way to check your man hours against a project. So if you're bidding a similar project to the one that you've just done, you can look and see how it was completed and how you did on it. It's wise to know how many man hours were in the original project and how well it turned out. For example, if the original project took 30 days for 2 workers to complete, then you know it took 480 man hours. That's 16 times 30 is 480 man hours. So you can see that 480 man hours is a guide for this new project. So if your estimate comes out to be 600 man hours or 280 man hours, then you need to go back and check your estimate. Something is probably off. It's a very simple way to check your electrical estimate. It's only a partial view of the project, and there's a lot more in depth to come. Start estimating larger electrical projects, you're going to find that there's a lot more things to consider. You're going to have to think about how long the project's going to be, how soon can you start work on the project, if there's going to be site work, and how long it's going to take for them to get the site prepped, what season you're going to start in. Weather's definitely out of our control, but if you're working in the mud, it's going to take you longer and the production's going to be slower, so you're going to have to make up that time somewhere else. When will the building be in the dry so you can start working? They may take half the project schedule just to get where you can start working. How many days will be left to finish once you can actually get into the job and start? Some more things to think about are, when are the walls going to go up? When is the drywall going to go up? When they're going to start painting? When will the ceiling be installed? How much time do I have to get that work done? So, you need to think about, you're going to need a lift. Can you use the lift before they put the walls up so you can go through the building efficiently? Or you're going to have to wait till the walls go up and maybe not even get a lift in some of the areas? Will the slab be poured when you do this work? So you're going to have to get an all-terrain lift and work on the dirt, or will they have the slab poured? Just a lot of things to consider, and you need to ask these questions so you can prepare the best budget possible. On larger electrical projects, you're also going to be producing a schedule to work by. It won't just be fly by the seat of your pants. Your schedule will change, as you go through the job, as you finish some things faster and some things slower, so it's going to be a moving target. Some projects you might be in control of the schedule, but in most cases, the general contractor is going to create a schedule for the project, and he's going to give you times to get your work done by. If you're lucky, they'll give you the schedule to review it and ask your opinion, or they may even ask you to create the schedule for the electrical part. If you have the proper electrical estimating software, that makes it easy. So the best bet to have a pro creates a schedule of values as you go, and you can easily see how long it's going to take to do each phase of the work. That's one of the beauties about the product. That helps you create a schedule. And you're not going to get everything that I'm telling you right now about this video, so there is a document to read. You can go back and read through this material slowly, and you'll start to understand it more as we go. I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up an electrical schedule. You should look at the whole project and just kind of get a feel for it and break it down and see how long you think it's going to take in your mind just see the difficulty of it, the size of it, kind of what you're up against. You just kind of get an overall feel. So in this project that we're going to set up, we're going to say the project's going to be called Gaston Project Center. And we know that the project duration is going to be 365 days. So to start with the project duration that's given, the total number of calendar days to complete the job, that's going to be 365 days. A 365-day project is going to have several days that you're not going to be able to work. So it's going to have holidays, it's going to have weekends, it's going to have weather delays, other days that you may elect not to work. So you need to see that the duration of the project says 365 days, but you're not going to have the whole 365 days to complete the job. You must start to do your best to determine how many days you're going to actually have to work. So things to be considered will be when you're going to actually start installing the electrical work. There's usually going to be some site prep, steel erection, slab work, and other things going on that you may not even be able to be on the job site during this time. You can start to build a schedule once you determine how many days you're actually going to have to work. In this project that we're setting up as a mock project, the key points are going to be the project has 365 days to complete. You know that you're not going to be on the site the entire 365 days. In this case, your electrical estimate shows 6,000 man-hours to complete, and you only have 6 employees that you can put on this project. You've looked at your schedule and you only have 6 available people that you're going to pull from. So your schedule needs to try its best to have just 6 people at the max. So we're going to create a mock schedule. So we're going to start by just seeing where we are on the project from talking to the general contractor and our crew scheduling software. We can see that there's 365 days to do the job, calendar days. When you omit the weekends, that's going to be 261 days left. So days to start the electrical is 20 days that we can't even be on the site. So that leaves us 241 days. And then from the time we finish the slab to the walls get up, where we can really start doing a lot of the work, we have 196 days left. So from this information, we can see that with the 196 days, we can plug in the 6,000 man-hours that we know that came from our estimate, and using the crew calculator, we can put 365 days. This would be the total number of days. And this is going to break down the entire project for 7 days working, 6 days working, and 5 days working, how many hours you need to work per week or per month. So you can see in the very first block here, if we had the 365 days, 60 days, which we don't, it'd be a little over 16 days to complete. So on the working 5 days a week, so you would see that you'd have to work over 23 hours a day to complete the project. Working 6 days a week, you'd have to work over 19 hours a day. So this can determine how many men it's going to take working 8-hour days or 10-hour days. So also we can go a little further, and it says it's 51, a little over 51 weeks, 52 weeks actually. It's going to be 116, a little over 116 hours per week that have to be worked, and over 500 hours per month. So the crew calculator will break this down and more. So if you're the whole 365 days, hours worked per day, if you're working 8 hours a day, you know you have a little over 2 days to complete it. It's pretty simple once you start looking at it. So if you're going to work 5 days a week, you're going to have to work 23 hours a day. And if you worked 8 hours a day, it's going to actually take you three men to achieve that. So you can break it down even further. This is working 5 days and 6 days. This is per week, and this other one is per month. So with that knowledge, we know it's possible for us to get it done. So it would take three guys the whole 261 days, but we know from the schedule that we're not going to be able to work that. So let's look at the electrical estimate and then break down the man hours that we have allocated for each phase. So you can see from this that we have 220 for the site, 100 for the slab, 960 for the walls, 1,000 to rough in the lights, 1,780 to rough in the branch, and so on and so on. 40 hours left to check it out with a total of 6,000 man hours to do the job. So now we have to break these man hours into how many guys are going to be on the site during this length that's going to be allocated for us to work. So let's get to that. So these are the steps that we're going to be using with the crew size calculator to perform this schedule. It's really easier than I know it sounds on this video. This video is going to be kind of long, but once you go back and review and see the calculator in action all together, it's very simple. But so we go back and look at our estimate, and in our estimate we had 220 man hours allocated for us to do the site. We talked to the general contractor, and in his schedule he has 14 calendar days for us to complete that. So in the calculator we just simply changed the 6,000 total man hours to 220. That's going to be calendar days. And then they want us to do it in 14 days, so we changed the duration of the project to 14 days. So that tells us there's going to be 15.71 hours worked a day to get that done. So working 8 hours a day, it would take 2 people to do that. Now this shows we could complete the task with 2 men. That's if we worked 7 days a week, and we know we're not going to do that because we've already kind of decided that we're going to try to work 5 8-hour days, and we're going to limit the number of workers to 6. Okay, so now let's look at it with the chart where we scroll down and we find 5 8-hour days. From this view, we know that we can do this project, this section of the project, this lab, we can do this with 3 men. So we're going to start to create our schedule to give to the general contractor with our site, and using his 14 days, we can do that with 3 men. So now we just move to the next phase. So now we're going to repeat this process for the slab. We've estimated 100 man hours to complete the slab, and the general contractor wants us to do the slab in 4 days. So on our calculator, we're going to put 100 man hours, and we're going to put 4 days to complete. And working 8 hours a day, that's going to be over 3 men, so we'll say 4 guys. So in our schedule, now we can add the slab, and we can say we can do it in your 4 days that you've allowed for our 4 men. So now we're going to repeat this process for the walls and the rest of the job. So we have estimated 960 man hours to do the walls, and the general contractor is wanting to give us 30 days to complete the task. So again, we're going to just plug in our 960 man hours into the project man hours. We're going to put the duration to 30, and we're going to see that if we worked 7 days a week, it'd be 4 guys. But we know we're not going to do that, so we go to the next chart over, and we see that working 5 days a week, we can do this with 6 guys. So we're all right, we can do that. So now we're just going to go to the schedule we're building. We're going to add the rough end walls. We're going to give him his 30 days he's asked for, and we can complete that with 6 guys. Now I think this is probably starting to look a little easier, and as we go it's going to get easier and easier. So we're filling out this schedule, and so far we don't have any issues. We have 3 guys to do the site, 4 guys to do the slab. It's going to take 6 to do the walls, 6 for the lights. So we're going to proceed to fill out the rest of the schedule the same way. But if you have something to shoot for and you have a plan, then you're more likely to succeed than if you're just randomly shooting in the dark. So next we're going to do the rough end of branch. This is our biggest one so far, so we have 1,780 man hours to complete the task. The journals want us to give us just 35 days to do this. It's going to be tight, I can tell from just looking. But to complete this task with 6 guys, it looks, by looking at our chart, we're going to have to work 6 days a week, and we're going to have to work 10 hours a day to get that done. And we're going to have to do that for 30 days. But so far we've made our schedule with less men than they've asked for, so we're going to give this to them and see how it goes. So now we're going to go on and look at the schedule. We put in our 6 days a week for 10 hours a day into our schedule. We can do that in 35 days. And then so we're going to complete the rest of the schedule, and it's going to look like the following. So when we're through, we see that we have 178 calendar days that we're going to be working on the site to complete this project. Remember that earlier we said that there was going to be 196 days for us to do our work. So there's going to be 18 days to play with. So you might ask for a couple more days on the rough end, and you probably could get it from them. But this would be our finished schedule if we did make any more changes. So you can see that we have the men allocated, the number of days to do it, and our total man hours. So looking at the project calculator, we started with the 6,000 man hours, 365 days. You can see all the breakouts, and then you can look at our schedule values from the estimate, and then you can, on the right, you can see the schedule that we're going to give the general contractor, and it seems like it's all going to work out. It's going to be a good plan. Once you get this calculator in your hands, it's going to be much easier than watching this video, because you'll see the whole thing in action. And it's a really good tool. It's worth the price for sure, which is free. So be glad for you to use it, and let me know what you think. So I hope this helps some as you go through trying to create your schedules. So the crew size calculator is a very valuable tool for quick budgets. It's also a fantastic way to track your electrical projects. So I'm trying to give back to people that's getting started, so you won't have to do the struggles that I went through every day. Just trying to give you some ideas that I've learned over the years. I may do it a little different way now with more expensive tools, but this will get you started. So every electrical contractor should use some kind of tool to keep up with their projects after it's won. This is going to be a good way for you to get started to see what you need. So the Best Bid Hybrid Pro with the on-screen takeoff is going to win you the project, but now you're going to need this crew calculator to keep the project on track. The crew calculator is going to produce your schedules, it's going to track your jobs, it's going to keep your quotes and change orders in one place. It's going to help you keep up with the inspections, your job notes, your time cards, everything you need to manage the job. So if you don't have a tool and you want this tool, Best Bid's offering it for you free. So to receive a free copy, just go to bestbidestimating.com or call 800-941-7028 and ask for Steve. I'll be glad to send you a copy. So keeping track of your electrical projects. So this is a good way to do it. It's going to show you your schedule values in your man hours and the hours worked each day and what percent of the job you're finished with. You can print this out to your guys in the field so they can keep up with where they are on the job. So you keep up with all your quotes and who's the low vendor and how much they were. You can track your change orders, whether they be a subtracted change order or added change order. You're going to be able to keep up with your inspections, who the inspector is, what day a week they called, when you called in the permits. It's all going to be stored in one location. Anybody can look it up. And then we're going to have a job folder. So there's going to start with the job folder. Inside that job folder is going to have all your jobs. And once you open one of these job folders, you're going to have all these subfolders. It's going to be your budget. It's going to be your change orders, your communications, your estimates, your invoices, job information, your job photos, the plans, your purchase orders, your rentals, your RFIs, timesheets, and the crew calculator. So you can keep all this stored. So I hope this is going to be a help to you. Spend a little time as something that you could do on your own, but trying to save you time. I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching the video.